This team was stripped of its stars and its depth in the offseason. Happens to a lot of teams, but we did have an impact there. And now they're suffering.
But again, I still go back to the fact that you throw a whole wrench in this with the Saquon Barkley thing. If he didn't have the year that he had, if that offense wasn't as humming as it was, then you're coming off the scrutiny of, do we ban the tush push? Do we not ban the tush push? There's a lot of factors in this OC decision, whether to get rid of him or to bring him in for next year. Kevin Patullo.
Oh.
Man, does this remind you of the Brian Johnson situation all over again?
Oh, yes.
Let's look at this, man. Is he failing as the Eagles head coach or offensive coordinator? I think a lot of people are putting the cart before the horse again with this situation. Even though Kellen Moore came in last year and was helping them get to a Super Bowl, but yeah. Come on, let's see. Like we already knew the caliber of Coach Kellen Moore was there. Everybody was clamoring at the bits for him, but I feel bad for Brian Johnson and the things that happened for him. I think they should have given him another chance. You guys seeing the theme here today? But the offensive rankings kind of speak for themselves, man. 30th in total offense, 25th in rush offense. The number one rushing team in the NFL last season, I believe, was it? I think they were number 2, actually. I think they were the number 2. I think the Ravens were number 1. But either way it goes, the top 3 rushing team is now at 25th. Crazy. 29th passing offense. Well, Jalen Hurts doesn't throw the ball a hell of a lot anyways, but I'm not surprised. But 29th with the weapons that you got, it's crazy. But the 15th scoring offense, which you're like, okay, I can see it, but the yards and the scoring just doesn't match up. You would think those are the 2 metrics that would match up, and they absolutely don't in this aspect. Don, how are we feeling, man? I know you're an Eagles fan, but are we putting the cart before the horse here?
Yeah, you probably are, but the basic question is Kevin Patullo on thin ice? Well, according to Eagles coach Nick Sirianni, he is not. Because Nick said the Eagles don't look for blame, but rather for solutions. Well, that does sound awfully familiar. After losing that successful coordinator we mentioned earlier, Kellen Moore, year after the Super Bowl, they have to act and not suffer through the nonsense like they did in 2023. When they had 2 coordinators leave and they ended up with Brian Johnson and Sean Desai.
Yep.
The organization will be reminded by the Philly media, the Philly fan base, and they will be reminded loudly and repeatedly until some type of action is taken. This team was stripped of its stars and its depth in the offseason. Happens to a lot of teams, but we did have an impact there, and now they're suffering. The replenishment of talent wasn't up to the caliber that they needed. Plus, you have the injuries that every other team's getting as well. They just don't have the right players in the right spots. The depth is not there. Now, the downfall of this team is not 100% on the offensive coordinator. Definitely not. They are lacking in a lot of areas. But this one area just looks out of sync. It needs leadership and instruction. That's what it looks like. It's like they're going through the motions part way and part way not, and they just are so out of sync. They need some direction, and they're not getting it.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, again, without this relating so much more to the Brian Johnson situation where we're just trying to accelerate somebody's firing more than they deserve, right? When Nick Sirianni better have said the things that he said, because his leash has been super long at some points of time when Eagles fans wanted him fired. And then they bring in a new coordinator and new coordinators, and look what happened. Got them to a Super Bowl just the following year. So, yeah, I mean, obviously, if there's a head coach in the league that knows how to make some tough decisions and understand what the future of this team looks like, I don't think we can sit here and say, well, yeah, it reminds us of the Brian Johnson situation. Kevin Patullo, if Nick Sirianni doesn't see the light, then he's definitely going to be gone for sure. Yeah. He'll make the moves that need to be made. But I think this is different because they just came off of a Super Bowl win. It's different because they have a Saquon Barkley. Is he struggling to find the right balance? Maybe. Yeah. It's a lot to ask for a guy to come in and try to not only manage all these personalities, but all these guys are superstars on this offense. Yeah. And the one thing that Brian Johnson had over a lot of other people is he knew Jalen Hurts since he was in high school.
Correct.
And so it was a little easier for him to manage that situation. That's why it was so shocking to me when they said, yeah, we're going to let this one ride and you're going to go somewhere else. But with A.J. Brown being vocal, Devontae Smith being more vocal than he's ever been, this throws a wrench into your first year as OC. I don't know if a lot of people could deal with this and the scrutiny that comes not only from that fan base, but from how people are going to be on social media. I think, to be honest, Kevin's feeling the most pressure in NFL out of any OC because of the talent that's there with the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So let's not act like the defense has not been good either.
Exactly. There's a lot of problems.
There's a lot of finger pointing to go on, and maybe that's why Nick made the comment. But, I'd say give it time and let the team be patient. And here's a fun stat for everybody, and I'm sure Eagles fans know this, but let's put this in perspective. How many different offensive coordinators has Jalen Hurts had in the last 6 years? 4.
Yeah.
Shane Steichen, Brian Johnson, Kellen Moore, and now Kevin Patullo. You're asking a guy to get adjusted to 4 different styles of offense at a high clip and it still brings you a Super Bowl. Well, this has actually been his Super Bowl. What are we talking about? Because he went there with Shane Steichen.
Yeah.
And then Brian Johnson came in. Then Kellen Moore came in, win a Super Bowl. Then you get Kevin Patullo. So that's a lot of change for this team.
A lot of change.
But again, I still go back to the fact that you throw a whole wrench in this with the Saquon Barkley thing. If he didn't have the year that he had, if that offense wasn't as humming as it was, then you're coming off the scrutiny of, do we ban the tush push? Do we not ban the tush push? There's a lot of factors in this OC decision, whether to get rid of him or to bring him in for next year. And I think the Philadelphia Eagles at this point in time need to ignore the fan base. They need to ignore Twitter. They need to ignore all that, because what you're going to end up happening is Kevin goes off to another place and he has a pretty good offense. And then you're looking at, well, why can't we just kept our mouth shut? So I think it's just different, but also he does have the pressure of having the superstars and he should be doing well. It's like, where do you find that balance, Don? It's like, I got everything I want, but I don't know how to use them.
Exactly.
I saw what Kellen did, but I'm not Kellen. So I don't know. It's like, give him grace, but then also at the same time, I understand why he has his feet at the fire too, because it shouldn't be happening.
Yeah.
I think fans are just disappointed. It just is what it is. But the offensive rankings are for the the Super Bowl champs.
Yeah.
It's bad.
It is bad. Very bad.
What is Stephen A. Smith? This is bad. This is bad.